What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in with Callie. Please subscribe if you haven't already. So, a lot's been going on with the Kawhi Leonard saga. I've actually addressed my opinion on it, and as well as many other people online and wherever you want to go. It doesn't matter. Any site, yahoo.com, even all the way down to X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. There's been people voicing their opinion about it, and there's been a lot of speculation around the Clippers, and the negativity grows day by day with them. Now, here's where it gets tricky, really, for Kawhi Leonard specifically, because, in situations like this, there can be an organization turning their back on a superstar. Almost the same way it happened with him in, San Antonio, where he had a thigh injury and he got a second opinion and he felt though he wasn't ready, even though the team said he was. And then the team turned his back on him and things of that nature. We all know what happened after that. Kawhi ended up ultimately leaving, going to another team, getting traded and winning a championship and getting the last laugh out of that situation. But I'm not too highly on him getting the last laugh out of this situation in regards to just him being a Clipper a long time, because I feel like now it's come to a point where Kawhi is really going to have to move on from this team. And I think, with things being the way they are about him getting the $28 million for not showing up to work and still getting paid the X amount of dollars, plus an additional $1.75 million that wasn't paid to him that was supposed to be. It's a lot of, extra stuff going on here that really both sides will be uncomfortable with, especially if the hammer comes down on him from Adam Silver in a very, very harsh way. But according to sources out there, they're saying that the Clippers have came to a realization to stop building around Kawhi Leonard. And it's due to the scandal that's going on, a lot of negativity that's surrounding him, not because of Kawhi Leonard's talent, not because he's too old, or not because of whatever the case may be, because he's not too old and his talent is still there and his greatness is still alive. It's just the fact that I'm hearing that sources are saying they're wanting to stop building around Kawhi because of the scandal. Now, I don't really see how that scandal really can dictate that, but maybe you could look at it from a standpoint of they don't want to build around somebody who's bringing the organization down. And this is a former staff person who has said these things, and I'm pretty sure this former staff source, it knows people, of course, in the building now that's working, obviously, and he's getting these sources from those people, probably in the upper management. And, with Kawhi, it's such a large risk with him because he's so great. He's been great. He is one of the top 5 players in the league when healthy and when he's right, in my opinion. But the downside that comes with him is load management, these type of things, and things under the table, perks under the table that people might not know about. And from what I'm hearing, it's always been that way with Kawhi, pretty much, even when he was in Toronto. But when you're winning and when you're successful and when you're at the top of your game, it really doesn't matter. Everything only seems to come down on you when you're not at the top of your game. And Kawhi still plays at a very, very high level. He just doesn't play very often. And he hasn't won a championship with the Clippers since he's been a part of this organization, which that's what a lot of people will knock him for continuously until he does. And it's just going to go that way in Kawhi's career. And I'm pretty sure Kawhi knows that, and he's definitely up for the challenge. But at the same time, there's a lot going on in this situation where his contract can be voided. And if that happens, he's basically becomes a free agent. He'll be a free agent looking for another team, which I think many teams will actually take Kawhi Leonard, honestly. I don't think really it would be an issue. I honestly think if they voided his contract and he became a free agent because he wants to stay in LA so bad, he probably would just go play for the Lakers, something that he said years and years ago when he was on the San Antonio Spurs. He asked them to trade him to the Lakers. He literally did. So, he probably would stay in L.A. and probably go there. And honestly, he would fit with the Lakers just as good as he would fit with any other team in the league because he is a superstar player. And superstars like him can build your team up to a high stature, especially if they're healthy. And he's one of those players. If he's on your team, if he's healthy, you have a chance. Because he's that good of a player. He's that big time. And he is clutch, in the moments of when you need him to come up with big games. like he did in the Denver series. He came up that big game too, where they lost the first game and they could not go down 0-2 because you knew the series would have been over if they went down 0-2. Even though his virtuoso performance was so great, they still barely won the game because the Clippers as a team just wasn't, better overall than the Denver Nuggets. Denver Nuggets had too much chemistry together, won championships, and the team is pretty much the same besides maybe 3-4 main players on the team. So their chemistry was too good based upon playing the Clippers where they were trying to build chemistry with all the new pieces they had. So, but even still, Kawhi still played great, averaging 25 points a game that series, the whole series. So, I mean, and shooting a very high percentage, 50+%. So that's Kawhi Leonard that we know of. And he still played at a high level. But as I said before, what comes with him bothers a lot of teams, in regards to what will happen. And honestly, I don't think it bothers teams to the point where they wouldn't take Kawhi, but at the same time, this situation doesn't make his case look any better, especially on top of the fact that he's the load management GOAT in most people's eyes. So I hope his contract doesn't get voided because honestly, I think that's going to be a very huge turmoil type situation for the Clippers because you have a lot of these young pieces. They don't have no guidance of a superstar that they can go to. James Harden is definitely not the answer because he chokes in big moments and he chokes in moments where you don't need him to. And he's always been that way throughout his career when it comes to the playoffs, besides one playoff run I think he had with Chris Paul and the Houston Rockets where they made it to the conference championship. And I think Chris Paul missed the game 6 or 7 where they lost ultimately, but that's the only time I've seen James Harden really actually, play at a decent level consistently in the playoffs, having somebody like Chris Paul, and he was a lot younger then too, but that's the only time. Oh, most of his career, it's a no-go, especially last year. So my point is, if they're not going to build around Kawhi, if they're not going to do that going forward, if that's not their mentality going forward, and going by sources, Kawhi knows that too. If all this is true, then Kawhi is definitely going to try to make his exit from the team, I believe. If they're not building around him so he could be the main guy, which he still feels like he can be if healthy, then why would he want to stay? And honestly, I'm pretty sure a lot of people wouldn't mind seeing him go. I'm pretty sure a lot of people wouldn't mind seeing him stay on the Clippers. I personally, I think he's, great where he is. I think he's done, as much as he could for the organization. But I mean, winning is the expectation for a player of his caliber. I understand. But I mean, he wasn't able to do it really mainly due to injuries. It wasn't really more so due because of anything else. So, I mean, getting injured is not really his fault. I mean, he wish if it was up to him, he probably would play a lot more and be available when he, is or can, but he wasn't able to. So there's nothing we could do about that. But honestly, if the Clippers are going to go this direction of not building around him, it could send Kawhi and his camp a sign of, okay, they're about to turn their back on us because everything is starting to get hectic. And they're about to point all fingers at me and my camp. And that's what it could be perceived as. So hopefully everything gets settled in a good way where everybody's happy and everybody can move on from this. But honestly, the way they're dragging it and carrying it out, it doesn't look like a situation that's going to go away anytime soon. So if Kawhi...